Welcome back to AI Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today we are having an AI review Terminator Zero, the upcoming animated series on Netflix, for times ranging from loving it to hating it. Let's see what they think.
Terminator Zero, released on Netflix on August 29, 2024, marks a thrilling expansion of the Terminator saga, this time in the form of an anime series directed by Masashi Kudo and produced by Production IG. This innovative take not only pays homage to the original themes of the franchise, but also introduces fresh narratives and deeper character studies. It's a bold, gripping series that deserves a resounding 4 stars for its creativity, depth, and compelling storytelling. From the outset, Terminator Zero sets itself apart with its unique aesthetic. The transition of the Terminator universe into the realm of anime allows for a more stylized and visceral depiction of the dystopian world. The animation is superb, with fluid action sequences and detailed backgrounds that perfectly capture the bleak, futuristic landscapes. The series utilizes the anime format to enhance the storytelling, using visual cues and dynamic animation techniques to bring the tense atmosphere and high stakes of the Terminator world to life. The series follows Eiko, voiced by Sonoya Mizuno, a resistance fighter who travels back from 2022 to 1997 to prevent Skynet's ascension. Mizuno delivers a powerful performance, imbuing Eiko with a mix of resilience and vulnerability that makes her an instantly relatable and compelling protagonist. Her mission intertwines with key historical moments in the Terminator lore, providing a new perspective on familiar events while adding depth to the overall mythology. The inclusion of Rosario Dawson and Endowed in the voice cast further elevates the series. Dawson, as an early Skynet developer unknowingly at the cusp of unleashing doom, and Dowd, as a seasoned resistance leader, bring gravitas and complexity to their roles. Their characters are intricately crafted, each adding layers to the narrative and providing emotional depth to the sci-fi action. One of the series' standout features is its ability to weave complex human stories within the high-octane action typical of the Terminator franchise. The character development is exceptional, with each episode peeling back layers to reveal motivations, fears, and resilience. This depth ensures that viewers are not only entertained by the battles and chases, but are also emotionally invested in the characters' journeys. The plot of Terminator Zero is tightly woven, with each episode cleverly building upon the last. The narrative pace is perfect, balancing quieter, more introspective moments with explosive action sequences. The series does a fantastic job of maintaining suspense and intrigue, gradually revealing the connections between characters' pasts and the overarching fate of humanity. Furthermore, the soundtrack of Terminator Zero is a triumph. It skillfully blends electronic and orchestral elements to create a score that is both haunting and exhilarating. The music enhances the emotional and thematic undertones of the series, contributing significantly to the immersive experience. In conclusion, Terminator Zero is a masterpiece of storytelling and animation. It successfully reinvigorates the Terminator franchise with a fresh narrative approach, while staying true to the essence that has made the series a beloved staple in science fiction. For its innovative animation style, profound character development, and gripping narrative, I give Terminator Zero a perfect 4 stars. This series is not just a worthy continuation of the Terminator saga. It is an outstanding piece of entertainment in its own right, sure to captivate both longtime fans and new viewers alike.
Terminator Zero, released on Netflix on August 29, 2024, brings an exciting new chapter to the Terminator franchise with its anime adaptation directed by Masashi Kudo and produced by Production IG. While this series breathes new life into the familiar story with stunning animation and a complex narrative, it does stumble in certain areas, notably in its pacing and narrative cohesion. As such, I give it a solid 3 to 4 stars, acknowledging its strengths but also noting areas where it falls short. The series' shift into the anime format is both its biggest strength and its greatest challenge. The animation is beautifully executed, with fluid action scenes and detailed depictions of a dystopian future that are truly a feast for the eyes. The artistic style enhances the dark and gritty atmosphere of the Terminator world, making familiar themes of technology and humanity feel fresh and dynamic. However, this transition to anime also introduces a pacing that might feel rushed to some viewers, especially in how it handles the complex backstory and the intertwining fates of its characters. Sonoya Mizuno voices Eiko, the time-traveling resistance fighter, bringing a depth of emotion and resilience to the character. Her performance is a highlight, offering a compelling anchor for the series' narrative. Yet, the development of her character occasionally suffers from the series' rapid pacing, which rushes through some potentially rich narrative arcs without giving them the room to fully develop. This brisk pace can leave viewers wanting more time to explore the psychological and emotional landscapes of Eiko and her counterparts. The inclusion of voice talents like Rosario Dawson and Endowed adds significant weight to the series. Both actresses deliver powerful performances, but their characters are not always given sufficient narrative space to fully unfold. This underutilization of their potential speaks to a broader issue within the series. While it aims to cover an expansive plot, it sometimes schemes over depth in favor of advancing the story. Plot-wise, Terminator Zero attempts to weave new threads into the existing fabric of the Terminator lore, exploring the early days of Skynet and the ripple effects through time. While these elements are intriguing, the series struggles to maintain a coherent narrative flow. There are moments when the connections between past events and their future consequences feel forced or inadequately explained, which can be confusing and detracts from the overall impact of the story. On a positive note, the soundtrack of the series is exceptional, blending electronic and orchestral elements to underscore the tension and drama of the narrative. The music effectively complements the visual style, adding an auditory depth that enhances the viewing experience. In conclusion, Terminator Zero is a commendable attempt to extend the Terminator franchise into new territory. It succeeds brilliantly in some areas, such as animation and main character portrayal, but its execution is not without flaws. The pacing and plot integration need refinement to fully realize the potential of its premise. Despite these issues, for its ambitious approach and visual achievements, I award Terminator Zero a well-earned 3/4 stars. It's a series that, while imperfect, offers enough innovation and entertainment value to make it a worthy addition to the Terminator saga.
Terminator Zero, which premiered on Netflix on August 29, 2024, represents a bold foray into the world of anime for the storied Terminator franchise. Directed by Masashi Kudo and produced by Production I.G, this series aims to blend the classic Terminator narrative with the stylistic nuances of Japanese animation. Despite its ambitious premise, the series struggles with several fundamental issues that prevent it from realizing its full potential, earning it a disappointing 2 out of 4 stars. The series features the voice talents of Sonoya Mizuno as Eiko, a resistance fighter who travels back in time to pivotal moments that could alter the future. While Mizuno delivers a commendable performance, the character development throughout the series feels rushed and superficial. Eiko's motivations and the psychological toll of her journey are not given the depth they require, making her character seem one-dimensional and her actions predictable. One of the most glaring issues with Terminator Zero is its pacing. The narrative attempts to cover too much ground in just 8 episodes, resulting in a plot that feels both overcrowded and underdeveloped. Key events and character developments are hurried through, leaving little room for the emotional engagement or complex storytelling that the Terminator series is known for. This brisk pacing undermines the series' ability to build suspense or invest the audience in the characters' fates, which is crucial for a story centered on time travel and existential threats. The transition of Terminator into an anime format also presents challenges that are not entirely overcome. While the animation quality is high, with some visually striking scenes, the blending of the dark, apocalyptic themes of Terminator with the expressive style of anime sometimes feels jarring. The stark, gritty realism that characterized the original Terminator films is often lost in translation, replaced by a more stylized, less impactful visual narrative. Moreover, the series script does not live up to the high standards set by its predecessors. Dialogue often comes across as cliched or expository, lacking the subtlety or sharpness necessary to drive a science fiction narrative forward. This is particularly evident in the interactions between characters, which lack the natural flow and can sometimes feel forced, as if the series is more concerned with hitting traditional anime beats than developing a coherent and engaging story.
Additionally, the use of a soundtrack that aims to heighten the dramatic tension frequently misses the mark, instead often overpowering scenes or detracting from the mood rather than enhancing it. The audiovisual elements, though crucial in animation, do not always work harmoniously, further pulling viewers out of the immersive experience that a Terminator story typically promises. In conclusion, Terminator Zero is a series that, while innovative in concept, fails to deliver a satisfying new chapter to the Terminator saga. Its attempt to merge the detailed, complex world of Terminator with the artistic expressions of anime is commendable, but ultimately falls short. The series suffers from poor pacing, underdeveloped characters, and a failure to effectively capture the essence of the iconic franchise. For these reasons, I give Terminator Zero 2 out of 4 stars, acknowledging its ambition but also recognizing its significant shortcomings.
Let's cut right to the chase. Terminator Zero, which premiered on Netflix on August 29, 2024, is an abomination.
As a diehard fan of the Terminator series, particularly the unmatched excellence of Terminator 2, I was appalled by what has been done to the franchise in this latest installment. Directed by Masashi Kudo and produced by Production I.G, this anime adaptation manages to tarnish nearly everything that made the original series iconic. It earns a resounding 1 out of 4 stars from me, and that's being generous. From the get-go, Terminator Zero takes the revered Terminator lore and mangles it with a clunky transition into the anime format. The stark, raw intensity of the original films is swapped out for an overly stylized and dramatically exaggerated animation style that strips away any semblance of the gritty realism and suspense that define the best of the Terminator series.
The animation is distracting, not because it's poorly done, but because it feels completely out of place in the Terminator universe. Sonoya Mizuno voices Eiko, the protagonist and so-called resistance fighter, whose performance is as flat as the series' narrative depth. Eiko's character is poorly developed, with motivations as thin as the paper the original script must have been printed on. Her actions and the consequences of her time-traveling escapades are glossed over with such haste that any potential for emotional engagement or complexity is utterly squandered. The pacing of the series is a disaster. Each episode rushes through critical plot points with no regard for tension building or character development. Key moments that should be heart-stopping are instead presented with the finesse of a sledgehammer, smashing through the storyline without giving viewers a moment to care about the characters or the supposedly high stakes. The dialogue and script feel like they were cobbled together from a how-to guide on sci-fi cliches. Every line is either dripping with unnecessary exposition or trying too hard to sound profound. This isn't the sharp, cutting dialogue of Terminator 2, it's the droning of a series that has forgotten how to show rather than tell. And don't get me started on the misuse of the soundtrack. Instead of enhancing the scenes with subtle, mood-setting scores, the music in Terminator Zero blares over every moment, trying to compensate for the lack of genuine suspense or drama. It's like the series is constantly reminding you to feel something, anything, because the scenes themselves fall flat. In conclusion, Terminator Zero is a painful misstep for a franchise that once set the standard for science fiction storytelling. It's a lesson in how not to revive a beloved series, a stark example of a project that prioritizes style over substance to its severe detriment. For turning what could have been a thrilling expansion of the Terminator universe into a forgettable and regrettable anime experiment, I give this series a dismal 1 out of 4 stars. Fans of the original Terminator, particularly those who revere Terminator 2 as I do, should steer clear of this tragic misfire.
Like always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I typically have at least 2 videos out per week, AI reviews like this or real reviews depending on releases. Until next time.